Hello, welcome to this. How changing your mindset can improve your life. It was Bob Proctor that said, "See yourself living in abundance and you attract it." It always works. It works every time with every person. You probably don't constantly think about how your mindset affects your life. It's possible you always thought that the way you think is only a result of how you were raised or through other circumstances. But your mindset is in fact does affect your life. And by changing how you think, you can improve your life. Abundance mindset, scarcity mindset, fear mindset, fixed mindset, growth mindset, confident mindset, and many others are all different types of mindsets we all have. Each unconscious and conscious belief affects our life every moment. According to the research of the same Stanford psychologist I talked about, Carol Dweck, the power of our beliefs, both conscious and unconscious, and how changing even the simplest one of them can have a profound impact on nearly every aspect of our lives. See, when you change your mindset, you become more creative, more artistic, more intelligent, more successful, more athletic, and more fulfilled. Now, here are some ways changing your mindset to an abundance mindset or growth mindset can improve your life. You're no longer afraid to step out of your comfort zone, because changing your mindset to one of growth allows you to see the different paths available to you in whatever you're seeking, whether it's job advancement, creative outlets, or something more personal, right? And this will allow you to move forward rather than being stuck in the same place. So when you change your mindset, you see that there is plenty of resources to go around. Even though there will be competition, you will see the opportunities in every aspect of your life. Also, you become more comfortable sharing ideas without feeling threatened or intimidated. And this can lead to better choices, better environments and relationships. You're not afraid of being a part of a team and participating in group situations, because you know you're here to learn. You're open to learning. Also, changing your mindset to one of growth will help you better build personal and romantic relationships, because you will realize that people will always have differences, and then you can learn that a relationship involves learning about and from each other. So your growth mindset help you develop skills to work well together, whether it's in a work situation or a personal situation. Also, you begin to judge yourself and others less. You won't have time to waste on judging others or judging others or what others are saying or doing. Rather, you'll be focusing on making progress in your own life. The change to a growth mindset, guys, has you accepting constructive criticism for what it is and using it to grow from where you are at. This mindset will help you become more confident, because you won't need any validation to reassure you that you're doing it right. Because you know, even if you make mistakes, what happens? You can correct it. You can also change your mindset, guys. You can't change your mindset. It's not an impossible thing, no matter where you are currently. And it will improve your life. Your skills will be cultivated, learned, practiced, and grown. You no longer have to worry about what will happen. Instead, you begin to commit to the process of doing, finishing, and learning along the road. Now, in changing your mindset, this will help you become a better person, improve your skills, and help you build relationships. You will step out of your comfort zone because you are now able to go after what you want, because you believe you will get it. Let's do something about mindsets today, guys, and I'll see you in part 3. Thank you. Hi guys, so it's just past midnight here. I was recording some courses and I decided to take a break. And this issue just came to my mind and it was impressed on me to share it. I did in my podcast before. I'll be talking about raising your hands. Do you remember how the teacher in your primary school class always wanted you to raise your hand, get picked before you could speak up? Thinking back, I really applaud the discipline of the young children, especially those who knew the answers but couldn't utter the answers until they had been granted permission. I remember how the teachers, in their bid to give everybody a chance, would ignore those that were in front raising their hands and be looking for the shy and reserved ones hiding behind to pick them out, right? This action just would frustrate those children in front, like, Auntie, me, I know the answer, pick me, you know. And I was thinking about it recently, and so many things just started coming to me, like, why don't we take steps? Why don't we take action? What are the things that hinder us, slow us down, limit our actions as adults or as business people? And I realized that so many of these actions, the limitations were placed by the institutions we trusted. I'll tell you briefly about the school project, just in a minute. Do you realize that school was an invention of the industrial age? When factories were in need of massive numbers of people, right, who were trained to follow instructions, repeat the same activities over and over again, till they became so good that their efficiency will multiply several times over. Why? Because they carried out the same action several times. This became actually a part of the magic of the Industrial Revolution, and so much accolade has been bestowed upon the proponents of this theory because it called for efficiency through repetition. This same school system taught children to follow procedure, follow rules, get permission before you go to the bathroom, walk in a straight line, stay in your line, wait for your turn. And this has produced a perfect army of human beings that are needed to keep the factory line running efficiently, but not to fulfill their purpose, not to go after what they need. This worked out perfectly, rather, because the industry is boomed and a great factory worker will go steadily on the job. And this was what helped birth the middle class America, right? Because these people were able to go. Hi, everyone. That's me trying to get my Instagram live and also trying to get my guest to join us on Instagram. How are you doing today? Really, how are you doing? And I really want to know. So I'm going to be looking in the comment section. I want to see how you're doing. 46 viewers already. Fantastic. Welcome, guys. I'm impressed by your timekeeping. Awesome. So welcome tonight, guys. Today we're talking about being transformed via excellence. Okay, so I'm still waiting on to see how you're doing. If you're live already, go in that comment section. Tell me, Fijeh, this is how I'm doing. It's a great morning. Not so well. Maybe not. I want to know. Also, drop in the comments where you are joining us from. What's your location? Where are you? What's the time there for you? Is it morning for you? Is it evening? What is your time looking like? While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and invite my guest also on Instagram. So we're going to be streaming on both places. So guys, if you have any issues with this platform, feel free to join on Instagram. I think we're also live on Facebook, YouTube. Welcome, Pastor Rolake. I'm going to mute this. Start my sound. Are you getting the feedback? I think we're good. Awesome. Thank you. So I am going to do a brief introduction, people. While we're going to give a minute for others to join us, but okay. My tech guy is giving instructions behind the screen. And I'm trying, so I'm multitasking. I'm doing Instagram, I'm following his instruction. I'm trying to stay with you. Oh, his TV is already fantastic. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Australia, I'm thinking we'll go off Instagram because it's giving feedback because it's too close. We'll just stay on this platform.
Okay, that sounds good.
I think so. All right, Instagram guys, if you haven't joined, go to the link in my bio. we are live, and you don't want to miss this. So go to the
Facebook and YouTube.
yes, go to YouTube at Fijeh Aadum, Facebook, any of those platforms. But register, and then once you register, a link will be sent to your email. Click that link, and boom, I'll see you. Don't miss your transformation. Hi, Uzekan. I'm very well, thank you. Join me. Go to the link in my bio and join me on YouTube. I can't do both of them. Thanks, guys. Bye. Fantastic YouTube and Facebook friends. We are all yours, 100%. So going into this, I've done a lot of events in the past, but recently I don't know if it's to say the things that are really important to me began to shift. You know, the things that matter to me. I realized that a lot of the things that change when I do events are when it's more personable, when people can ask questions, not just being talked at and instructed, right? That's why with virtual, you know how it is when you're a business person or you're just someone who wants to do well and survive in life. You need to move with the time. So as virtual went, I was like, how do we do this? We used to do in-person events. How we like, okay, let's make it more interactive. And it has been fantastic. It has been very successful. So today, I want you to not just have your pen and paper, be ready to learn. I want you also to have your questions written down. As the questions are coming, just be dropping them online. They'll send them through to me. I'm not the only one that is going to be having this conversation. It's a general conversation. This is a community. So you're welcome to put down all your questions. But get your pen, get your paper. Let me tell you guys, the things that change your life are not the things you hear. It's not the events you attend. It is the things you do about the events you attend. So even though if this is 45 minutes, I want you to take one thing, 2 things, 3 things, just listen, 1, 2, 3, boom, boom, boom. These things for me are important. These are the things that will change everything for me. These are the things I'm going to focus on, okay? And I bet you when you do those small little changes, your life begins to change like that. So welcome, guys. Today we are talking transformed by excellence. As I go into the introduction, let me also give one definition that makes that. Let me clear one thing. A lot of the time people think of transformation or change, they are thinking of attending one event that just blows up everything. They are thinking of maybe if you're a Christian like I am, maybe going for one all night of change, and then suddenly it's 360 degrees turnaround. But the fact of life is that it is incremental changes. It is the little things you do. Okay, so you don't just become excellent overnight. Like boom, she just laid hands on me and I was excellent. So today we are not going to be talking about the hype. We're going to talk about the reality of it. What are the things you will do? That's why I said get your pen, because there are nuggets that are going to drop. There are things that will drop. Look, I'm a Christian, but I don't care how anointed you are. No matter what they transfer to you through anointing, if you really want to know the secret of a person's life, you need to sit with them and listen to the things they do. Then do those things. Otherwise, why do you think non-Christians are succeeding, right? It's because there are principles in life. So this morning is all about those principles. We are going to learn the opportunities you wouldn't have had. You see, there's one thing I've learned in life, and I said it in one of my one of the ads I shared. I said when you meet someone you admire, someone that has blessed you, you can do one of 3 things. You can take a selfie, you can post, oh, I met this guy, this happened. Or you can just be overwhelmed, like, wow, what a privilege. The third thing you can do is, what did you do to get there? And I think that's the most powerful. And that's what we are doing here today. Fantastic. Enough of me. I know you didn't come to hear Fijeh speaking today. So guys, let me go ahead and introduce my guest and let's get into the cocoa of the matter, as we say in Nigeria. So our guest today I met not long ago. I remember when I came to the US, because I always tell myself I'm sojourning in the US for a while. One of the things I didn't really want to do is I didn't want to commit to a ton of things, because one of the reasons I left Nigeria is because I was so everywhere. I was like, no, I need to move, get to a different place and welcome our users. I see we have over 400 people watching on YouTube. Super, welcome. I'm not going to go back to keep welcoming you. Just know you are welcome. And I decided I was going to try to live a very lean life. I didn't want to commit to organizations. I didn't want to commit to institutions. I was just going to live a lean life, serve God, take care of my family, and focus on what brought me here. I wanted to get a couple of books out. But then there was last summer, I think, my daughter, my youngest, I think my husband drove by somewhere. We're living in this place then, and then he saw a redeemed sign. I was like, oh, we should try this church. And then when he and my daughter went, and over 2,000 people, fantastic. Welcome, guys. Watching on YouTube. YouTube, you're killing it. I'm not keeping tabs on the Facebook, but YouTube is killing it. Over 2,000 viewers. And so Bura went for this youth camp, and then she's like, oh, I love it. I love this church, because I was trying to not be committed to institutions. I was very skeptical. I just went once, like, but when I met the people in there, especially when I met this woman, I was like, well, I tried to resist. It was like tug. Have you played tug of war before? They pull you, you pull. I try like, I don't want institutional commitments. But over time, I'm grateful to God that I came to know her. I'm grateful to God that we developed a relationship. She has been such a blessing to me. And I'm a very generous person. When I see something that blesses me, what do? I bring that person to our community. So today, guys, free of charge, costing you barely 1 hour of your life. You're going to sit down, and I promise you're going to get nuggets that would literally change your life. Who is ready? I know you're already all about 2,000 of you watching. Let me introduce to you today Pastor Rolake Adedara. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Coach Fijeh, author Fijeh. Thank you for having me. Blessed to be here. Excited to be here.
Awesome, fantastic. And one of the things I try not to do these days is I try not to introduce people in full. I like to give that privilege to people to see because it also tells me a lot about you. What do you want to be? What is most important to you and what comes out? So I'm going to ask you first, can you tell the world about you? Tell our audience who you are and what you're about.
Okay, I'm Rolake Adedara, fondly called Rolly Adedara. And again, I really can't thank you enough, Fijeh. I know I said it earlier, but I really want to thank you for being here. You said something earlier, about this being a community, and thank you for bringing this community together. Thank you for making an impact. I have to thank you in addition to bringing me here. But I'm Rolake Adedara. I'm originally from Nigeria, and now fully, I've been in the US for about 23 years. By profession, I am an accountant/consultant. I am a certified public accountant here, licensed to practice in the state of Illinois. I am a mother. I've been married to my sweetheart, Adedara, for about 23 years, about as long as I've been in this country. And we're blessed with two. They will hate me if I call them kids now. 22 and 20 young adults. One is a senior finishing his degree this year, graduating this year, and our daughter next year. And I'm also a pastor, an ordained pastor in the Redeemed Christian Church of God. And I just love God. I love what I do on every sphere, every sphere of my life. And I'm just grateful to be alive. So I've been here 23 years. Like I said, I just love what everything that God has enabled me to lay my hands upon. So I'm glad to be here to speak with you today about transformed by excellence.
Awesome, ma'am. Welcome. We are excited to have you, and we don't take the privilege for granted. Because I appreciate the time. Time is, if there's one of the things I learned even more here, is the fact in the US is how much people appreciate time, because time is there, and especially knowing you and the ton of things, the responsibilities you have. It. Thank you.
I just try to keep it simple.
Thank you. So I'm going to go straight into it, and I'm going to ask you a question about first growing up. And I do this specifically because I'm raising 3 children. And for me, almost everything I do in life right now, I reflect when I'm thinking, how are my children seeing this? What do they think of this? So it is really important to me to know that if I'm thinking of excellence, I'm thinking of transformation, I want to know how is it impacting those children. So one of the questions that fascinates me the most when I meet people who I think are successful is this. What was growing up like for you? How did that impact your life growing up? What do you think your parents did right? What did you see that could have impacted and had made the issue of excellence such an issue of prominence in your life? What did your parents do right? What did they do right? What do you think we can do to make impact? So can you give us a general overview of what growing up was like, what you learned, and what you also had to change to get on this path to excellence?
Great question. I was really blessed to have great parents. My father was by profession a lawyer. He was also a human resources director at a at a Geneva, Switzerland-based company. They were into stationery and all that. And my mother was a finance person as well. But my parents were there. And I think that is huge. They were very present in our lives. And, of course, my father being a lawyer, I remember he would buy books, endless books. You would, especially, there's six of us, especially my older brother and I, we read books. We read The Secret Five, The Fabulous Six. There were no, it was always, his library was always full of books. And my mom was like, don't, stress his children, they're reading too much. But he made us read a lot. And he always, especially my father, he always told us there was nothing we wanted to accomplish that we could never become. And, to your point, the foundation matters, when you consider a foundation, when you want to build something solid, it's like with anything in our lives, we want to build a home. If the foundation isn't solid, you aren't going anywhere. The solidness or the uprightness of how a building or a property or anything is, of an object is, really depends on the foundation. So my parents were there. Especially for me as a lady, my father always told me there was nothing. Don't let people mix up your gender with what you can do. And again, coming from certain cultures, let's not be specific here, but as we know, certain cultures, they'll be like, a woman can only go so far. You can only accomplish certain things, in a specific manner, or you cannot even go, to some distances. So my parents built that in me, that there was nothing I wanted to be that I could not be. They had six of us, and they did an excellent job. And I know we'll get into excellence, I'm throwing it out, but I thought they did a great job letting us know from the very, very onset that was nothing we wanted to be that we could not be, whether it was us as daughters or the sons. And they were very present. They were present. And another thing, I think they invested in us. They invested in us. I went to the Federal Government Girls College, Oyo, then, one of the prestigious schools, and in Nigeria, probably still now. They were willing to do whatever it took to make sure that we got invested in. They've invested in us. They paid our way through college. And I think the biggest thing was always instilling in us the confidence that you can be everything that you set your heart to be. However, you also made a statement. It's not what we hear. And I don't know who's listening to us on YouTube or Facebook or IG or wherever today. You've heard a lot. In fact, some of the things you're going to hear today, you probably have heard before. But like Fijeh rightly said, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to ensure that it transforms your life? So for me as a child, hearing those things my parents told me, remembering that for them, it was not about who we were, because we were nothing at that time, right? We were kids. I mean, we were human beings created in God's image after his likeness, but on our path to becoming something. And it was important for us to know that we were not going to get there. Things were not going to be dropped on our laps. My father always told us that. Things were not going to get dropped on our laps. You become everything you do consistently is what you eventually become. My mother also, they were also prayerful, godly parents. But I think the biggest thing, they were present. They were very present in our lives.
Wow. This is something I'm hoping we can get a little more time to speak about, especially for people who are in the West. The ability to be present in your life. It can be tough. It can be tough here, but I'm hoping we have time when we talk about relationships and family to expound more on that. Well, for now, I think what I should just ask is, welcome, Spartans. The Spartans are here. That's our youth community. What's up?
I guess officially I'm a Spartan too. Officially I'm a Spartan.
Yeah.
Welcome, Spartans.
Fantastic, man. So I'm going to ask, in terms of your career and all that, which I know you expound on, how did this all get started? What has your career journey been like? Because I know we're going to talk about the excellent part. What has the journey been like? The part that probably is not seen on your LinkedIn profile or when you talk to it. What has that journey been like to getting where you are today?
Yeah, it's interesting, like I said, my father was a lawyer. So what he wanted, if we had his way, he wanted all six of us. And I believe that was why he had that agenda of us continually reading books, right? The more books you read and all that. So if he had his way, it would have been for all six of us to be lawyers, right? And he did have his own law firm. Interestingly, the six of us were two lawyers. He did get it, two
Oh,
lawyers,
get
thankfully,
to.
two accountants. Yeah, good for him, and two engineers, two accountants, two lawyers, two engineers. So I remember I realized that I liked math, coming from Nigeria, and mostly maybe from our part of the world, the African continent. We encourage our kids to be the best, right? Generally, there's certain professions that we perceive, let me put it that way, as setting you on a successful path and that which you would make money from and be well established in life. So I knew that I liked my favorite subjects were math. I like math and I like sciences. So initially I was thinking, okay, maybe I'll be a medical doctor, but I hate seeing blood. My thing is, I'm like, I could not, because anytime I thought about the medical profession, it was about the surgeons and the surgeries they did and, all those things. I'm like, it's so gross for me. And then I started to have this conversation with my dad and he said, okay, what else? Because we had settled the matter that I wasn't going to be a lawyer. Because when I thought of lawyers, it was more of they spoke too much and I used to be really shy. I can't believe I'm speaking to you guys today, right? This is what God can do. But then we started to brainstorm again and he said, okay, you like math? Okay, then maybe how about accounting? I'm like, okay, yeah, and that's it. And that's really how it came about. And again, to somebody today, you might not really, it could be that maybe by happenstance, you stumbled on your profession. It could be, it is truly, really then what you make out of it, and I said, okay, I can apply to the University of Lagos for accounting. And I think, and this is for someone too, especially for us, you talked about children, making sure that our children are not going just to any school. So for instance, you want to be an engineer. What colleges are known for engineering? What colleges are known for accounting? So at that time I did apply to, and I went to the University of Lagos to do accounting. I liked it. I did not love it. I really liked it. I actually graduated as a top best female student in my class then in 90, can't believe I'm speaking in the 90s, but it was 95-ish, I think I graduated. And then I went on to do my, makes you feel so young, but then I went on to do my NYSC, the National Youth Service Corps in Nigeria, in mobile oil in Lagos. And I was just in the engineering drilling department, and I was part of the accounting team and all that. And I just realized I felt like I was in the box. I had this little small drilling engineering department, and I was just one of the few accountants in there. And I was just seeing some random numbers. I wasn't seeing the full picture of the company. I wanted more. I felt like I was just really, and it was routine. It was like the same thing, the same drilling, engineering, accounts and numbers, and analyzing those numbers. I'm like, I wanted more. And then I get home one day, and my father brings home this newspaper and said, "Hey, Rolake, because he calls me Rolake too." He says, "Oh, there's this appointment here. I think an advertisement in PwC that you should apply to." And I started to really research into PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, which, as we know, is one of the topmost, right, accounting firm in the world. So I did. Then after my NYSC that year with Mobil Oil, I went on to PwC, and that was where I started my career from, as an accountant, consultant, really just serving clients, whether it was in the consulting, the manufacturing, warehousing, distribution industries, or oil and gas. I did some with the financial institutions as well, audited for banks and all that. So that was really how it all started for me. And then a few years, I think 3 years after I'd been with PwC, the door opened for me to come here to the United States. So I relocated, and unfortunately, PwC doesn't have this international transfer policy where you are automatically transferred to another office if you were to relocate. But what was key, we came in here March, I remember. We got married February, my husband and I, when we relocated here March of 99. But what was key was that PwC, and again, we're talking about excellence, is a firm of excellence, so that where a PwC staff, the way they would perform their work in Asia, if you ship them over to the US, you would expect and get the same thing. A PwC person that worked in Nigeria, you ship them over to Australia. That's what you would get from them, because that was the way we were trained. So I've been blessed, really just being with the best of the best in terms of, experience, in terms of the firm I started with. And I liked it because it was versatile. I could see clients, I could serve clients in the manufacturing industry. I served clients in the oil and gas industry, Conoco Oil, Chevron, BP, ExxonMobil. Those were all our clients. And it was really, really an eye-opener for me to see how things were done, and especially Excellent. And then, of course, relocated here. And I coming in here, like, I really do want to continue in that field. And I have been in the public accounting field as well since I came in here.
Wow, fantastic. It's interesting how should I say destiny just locates you, can you imagine that happening from a magazine your father brought, and that has literally directed the course of your life, right? It's so inspiring when you do your best work,
Right.
and your heart is desirous of something, how nature, divinity, and everything works in place to make sure the lines will fall together for you in pleasant places. So when people think of excellence, it seems so far out of reach. Oh, the opportunity! I don't know anybody. You didn't know anybody in PwC. That's what a magazine, a newspaper ad. So I always say to people, it's not as much about who you know. Sometimes who you know helps a lot, but it is more about that desire of your heart, the call of your heart. What's your heart looking for?
Yeah.
If you're looking for excellence, you will end up in an excellence environment. If you're just
Yes.
shutting and shabby, just anyhow, taking anyhow, I promise you're going to end up in a kite and a cone accounting firm. No pun intended, in case that's your name. Because there are kites and cones that are excellent.
I love that.
I do believe that our heart calls out and they eventually align. So I want to also ask you this. I have a very strong belief that I'm a Christian, like I mentioned earlier. And I think that Christians make a mistake when they think that there are people who are Christians and they will serve God excellently. When it's time to usher, go to job, they'll do it. And then in a bid to convince God, see how well I'm serving you, bless me. When they go to their jobs, like maybe you're a civil servant in Ministry of Works in Abuja, even your boss is not at work at 10 o'clock. So why should I go at this time? And I say, and it's the same thing with entrepreneurs. And I say to people, look, I think that entrepreneurship is the calling. I think what I'm doing in not-for-profit, what I'm doing as a social entrepreneur, it's a calling. I believe I'm serving God in this as much as I'll be serving God if I was an usher, I was in the choir. So for me, service to God is not just serving in the four walls of a church. Service to God, my work, my daily purpose, what I'm doing for money is also a purpose for me. So can you tell us how has your professional journey, your profession, your belief in excellence, how has it impacted your family, the kingdom work you do, because you say you're a pastor, what you do in your community? How does all that tie together for you when it comes to excellence in generality of what you do?
Loaded, absolutely loaded question. Fijeh, love it. The truth is, excellence is all about our attitude. I want to make a point. I want to hone in before I go to that question on one statement that you made. You could be just a hairstylist. In my case, to your point, divinity, providence, I was guided to this path that I'm on. You could be a hairstylist. Be the best hairstylist you can be. You could be an Uber driver, a Lyft driver. Excellence really, right? Is really just taking it to that next level, excelling the highest level, highest quality, doing something, doing an ordinary thing in an extraordinary manner. Really, it's what excellence is. It's really what it is. So you said earlier, I'm a pastor, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian as well. And that is why, haven't you asked yourself that question as well? How is it that it seems like it is the so-called, in quote, unbelievers, right, that are making it in the world? There are certain principles that we cannot bypass in life. And I believe that this is a virtue. This that we're talking about here today is one of the biggest principles that even God himself respects. There are principles. What you sow is what you reap. That is just it. As long as the earth remaineth, summertime, harvest time would never ever cease. So you see the Jeff Bezos of this world, you see the Elon Musk of this world, you see the Mark Zuckerberg. There are certain principles that they have stuck with and they have stuck to, and they are working for them. Somebody said that excellence is what we repeatedly do. What we do over time, repeatedly do. Therefore, it is not an art because it is not perfection, but it is a habit. It is a habit. So what is it that you do repeatedly? Trust me. Hey, honey, you're going to get there. You become so proficient. They're looking for a speaker. You are the one they call on. You become so reliable. You become so proficient in that thing. You've done it repeatedly, and you can be relied upon to show up and to show up well and to do it in an extraordinary way. So, I just wanted to drop that out there for someone. But Fijeh, to your question of how my professional journey has positioned me to impact my family and the kingdom of God, and and even my environment, my community, my family, my career. I think that we are made to be people of influence. You are a child of God. God wants you to be a person of influence. Even in creation, in Genesis, the Bible tells us that God, he looked at everything that he made and he said, this was good. It was pleasant. In the same manner, what we do, if we are representing this kingdom, if we are really ambassadors that we are, then everything that we do, so can people look at it and say, this is excellent, and say, this is good, and this is pleasant. So in my profession, with me serving people, again, I don't make products, right? So as a consultant, I serve people, I provide services, right? I provide services. So, and I meet with people. So one thing that I believe that this profession has really, really helped me with, I know we'll come to that. I know Fijeh is big on relationships, but, it has really helped me to build relationships because I've had to I've met them all. I've met the good, the bad, I've met the ugly. And you know what? It is still all part of excellence that your client and your customer is always first. Why do people think about, when we talk about Apple, when you look at excellent companies, excellent businesses, what is it about Apple? I have an iPhone. How many of us have let all the smartphones or raise it up, but how many of us have it? It's not just about the fact that you can make a call with this phone. This is an experience. When you hold this product in your hands, it's about an experience. You can chat with it. You can, in a few minutes, you can be on the internet. I believe some of us watching today, right here, we're actually on YouTube or Facebook on the same iPhone. It's excellent. It's about an experience that you provide to people. Apple gave us an experience, and that's why they're excellent. That's why when the next iPhone is out, oh my goodness, you should come to downtown Chicago here. The line goes on to forever. And people are standing on that line. Because why? It's about the experience. They're offering them something they're not getting elsewhere. Hallelujah. It is a principle that we can never bypass. What is your own experience? When people connect with you, whether it's at your place of work, in church, in your family, in your community, what is the experience they get? Do you deposit value in them? Do you deposit value in people? I'll say that again. What do people get from you? So I think that my profession is relational. So it has helped me to be able to relate. I relate with people. Being able to just relate. I know that the service I provide, people come to me. How many accountants are there in the world? I'm sure you can count millions of us. How many consultants are there in the world? I'm sure you can count zillions of us. But the truth of the matter is, what is going to distinguish you as a human being is excellence. What value are you adding? So for me, I'll make this last statement. I look at numbers, right? I do financial statements for clients. I help them, I prepare for some I assist them with preparation. But I look beyond the numbers because a lot of accountants know numbers. And this is excellence. Going above and beyond and being creative and adding value. When I sit with my clients, I don't just say, here's your financial statement, sir. Yeah, I'm done. Take it, sir. I go beyond and above and say, here are some of the things we found in preparing these financials. These are some recommendations we can make to help you improve your processes. These are some recommendations to help you. After all, for an entrepreneur, right? I'm looking to improve profitability. It's not just looking at the numbers. Or, hey, I've made money. What are the tax implications for me? Don't even wait for them to ask. We don't wait for them to ask. So it's an overall experience. I think that the relational aspect of it, we are made for relationships. So maybe you can say that you are not in the business of providing services like me. You are in the business of providing products. Even more important. So for instance, you might run a restaurant, right? And you make the best food. Everybody knows your buka in Lagos or in Abuja, in Ghana, Accra. It's the best. Or here in Chicago, your restaurant is the best. However, what experience do I get when I step in there? What would make me keep coming back to you? Now, your food might be the most tastiest, if there's anything like that, or the tastiest food. Now, you can serve it to me. Who would take the best steak or the best grilled tilapia fish, really nicely seasoned, but when it is presented to you, it's on the dirtiest plate ever? I would run. So the platform of excellence, it opens doors. Platform of excellence is important, and I think that's what would distinguish us. You can have the best service, you can have the best product, but on what platform are you providing that service or providing that product? What value are you adding? And what will make people keep coming back? So those are some of the things that I have learned. But the keyest for me is the relationship aspect of being able to now deal with people, seeing them from, I have to put myself sometimes too in the shoes of my clients to say, if I'm the one running this business,
I think there's a break in transmission. Let's hold on tight. And she'll be back again in a minute. Wow, people. Just be dropping those fire emojis. Have you started learning? We are about barely halfway, and can you see what I'm talking about? Are we fulfilling our promise? Like, is your mind being blown away? Are you learning practical skills, practical tips? I think this is fantastic. Let's see if Pastor is. I think her internet may have. Okay, fantastic, people. So while we're waiting for her to get back on, will you drop us your questions if you have any career related? Okay, good. That's a fantastic question to ask. Fijeh, I just see it. It says, what experience are your clients getting from your product and services? Because people do not remember a service because they get so many services. But who forgets an experience? Very few people. So if you give them an experience to remember, that experience will stay. I'm going to hand over back to Pastor Rolake.
All right, I got disconnected for a sec. Okay, but we're back on. I got disconnected.
Okay, welcome back on. Yes, so thank you for that elaborate answer. It was fantastic. You sometimes one answer just answered like 4 questions I listed. So it is interesting. Now I want to ask you, because I know it's fantastic to be excellence, but we all know it's not. And guys, forgive me, of the 40 years I've spent in this world, I spent at least 30 in Nigeria. So I'm going to be using a lot of Nigerian slangs. So even as great as it is, oh, fantastic, Olamide, he says, I'm having a great morning. Presentation, I'm in Ghana. How can I contact you and where you live? We'll drop Pastor Rolly's contacts here so that if you have any questions, you can reach her on all the professional platforms, okay? And we'll give you her YouTube channel, all the places where she's always appearing, where she's always teaching. We give you all those. So my team, just make sure you collect that information and you make it available to all our viewers. Okay. If you didn't register formally, you can go to the link and register, because we'll send you that in by email. We'll also put it in the link so you can at least see it live. Yes. So to my questions, I know that to be excellent is not my. That's why I told you I'm going to use Nigerian slang. It's not. If it was easy, everybody would be there.
Yeah,
Why do you think
absolutely.
we have traffic jam on I-90, but we don't have traffic jam in the air? Because driving on the ground is easy. Anybody can just get and drive. But how many people are going to fly? How many people are going to buy airplanes, get trained as pilots? So, guys, we all know that this is great. Hey, Enobong, if I have to tell you this, I've known Eno for over 20 years. Eno, am I correct? Yes, because we're in uni together. You see, I'm in business, I sell crayfish. I need to know what will make my customers come in. Adejo, please have that. We'll have a time for a few more questions. But the question I'm going to ask you now, particularly, is this: what are some of the practical struggles you have faced as a professional? Because we know that it's been a journey, okay? And then how do you get through and past these challenges to become the epitome of excellence that you represent today, that people will want to know, get these answers for you? What are some of those struggles? How did you get through them? How did you get past them and still remain excellent? Because you could have given up, you could have cut corners and reduced the quality of work. How did you do it? How did you stay this lane to get to this point?
So, first thing I would say, thank you for that question. Great question. The truth is, for me, like you said, that the most of your years have been in Nigeria. I think for me, it's kind of like flip. Most of my professional, thank you, I'm back. Most of my professional years have been here, and some of the pitfalls, some of the challenges are, having to learn something new, being in a new environment. Having to learn to study the environment. And I think it's really, really key, studying the environment. Here in the US, the laws are different. So for me specifically, it was about learning the new. Audit was audit for me. Accounting was accounting for me. But as far as the tax laws, having to learn the environment, having to learn the culture, it was an initial culture shock to. So some of the challenges I would say have just really been, I think for us as immigrants, I'll throw it out there. I was an immigrant coming in here as well. The challenges are just maybe having to prove yourself more than others do. Having to go that extra step to prove yourself now, not only as an immigrant, a female immigrant. It definitely has another spice to it, but I think generally overcoming, believing in yourself, and the thing is, people can never, whatever those challenges are, people would never fight results. I remember one of the experiences I had, I have several staff to really poured into me over time, over years in the different firms that I've been at. And I remember I turned in a product to a manager of mine, and he came back to me and said, this was years ago, he said, did you return this in? Did you? That he couldn't remember what he saw on my resume, that we really, truly did not go to college in this country. I'm like, yeah, I went to school in Nigeria, and I just came here and did my CPA. So I think that not being deterred, making sure that whatever those challenges are, having your plan in mind, having your focus. Now, what is your own plan? Maybe it's your career plan. Somebody talked about running a business. What is your own business plan? Keeping that focus in mind, keeping that plan in mind. Don't be deterred. Those challenges are going to come, but being focused on it, ensuring that you say, now, if you have to maybe reinvent yourself, I can't tell you how many books I have read, and I still continue to read as I have the time. Educating yourself. I take training, I've read books, I do regular annual. In my profession, I'm required to have at least 40 hours, a year of relevant training. So those are some of the challenges personally for me, and overcoming them, I've just been really making sure that through it all, you come up with results. People can never, they will never push you aside. When you are a person that shows results, they might doubt how you did it. They might doubt that you truly did it, but over time, consistently, staying consistent, and delivering at all times, making sure that you are getting better. Somebody define excellence too as, it's in the details. Excellence is in the details. Give attention to the details, lady or a guy, whoever is here. In whatever you do, an excellence will come. So those challenges will be there, but staying focused, staying true to your plan and your purpose and what you want to accomplish on that project and or in your career will be very key to not being deterred.
Awesome answers. Thank you, and also very practical. I want to also ask you two scenario questions right now, and I'll lump them in one because they may have a similar story. The response may be tied. Can you tell us about a time when you almost gave up on this dream? When I say this dream, it's not just one area, because yours is a plethora of different areas where you've standing and been excellent. So has there been a time when you almost gave up and we're tempted to compromise on this wonderful journey you are on? Mm-hmm. And if there has been, tell us, what is it that gave you the strength to carry on? And the second part is, what is the best thing that has happened to you since you committed to live a life of excellence?
Well, great questions all around. I think, man, on the first one, giving up. Honestly, this particular area, I've never really given up. Giving up on. It's been challenging. I think that maybe the fact that I'm a mother at the time, and maybe this would be for someone that maybe at this time in your life, you are bringing up a family. So I remember in this, and in many professions for that matter, and specifically in mine, it's like a pyramid. So it's like a pyramid, as I show us here. So a pyramid is the bottom part is larger. The bottom part is larger, and as you go higher, right? As you go higher in a pyramid, it gets thinner, it gets smaller. So you would see. So the mix in my industry is at that bottom level of the pyramid. You have a great mix. You have men, you have female, you have male, you've got everybody there. And as you go up the pyramid, it gets thinner. You have fewer people there, and the mix also changes. Now, how do you stay focused? How do you stay on that path so that you continue to be the part of that thing, that very top of the pyramid? So you might have to, for me, for instance, I had to take a few years of a career break here, because at that time I had little, my children were little, and I had to make priorities. So there might be times that in accomplishing, to be practical, I had to go, from working full 40 hours to a few, 3 days thereabout in a week, just so I could, because my husband was also traveling. He's also in this profession. We actually met at PricewaterhouseCoopers. We work with PwC. So I had to take a break at that time, but I did not totally put it aside. So don't totally put it aside. Don't forget about it. You might have to take a break because maybe, home demands, or, bringing up your children, because the home front, right, is key as well for me now, speaking as a wife and as a mother. But then making sure that you don't give up on it. You don't give up on it. Now, there might be times that you might be discouraged. You might not have anybody to look for. I think one of the things that helped me too was I had mentors. Make sure you have a mentor. People that really will do anything. In life, it's important that we have mentors. People that are sincerely interested in seeing you there. So in my career, I had a she was actually a Caucasian lady, a white lady, and she just said, "Rolake, I like you so much. I love what you do." So at the times that it was getting tough to keep going on because of the challenges of the ministry, challenges of the, of the home front, she's like, "I really want you to know how much we value you here. I want you to know how much of an asset you are." So I officially, she became my mentor. Find a mentor. Make sure you have somebody, they have been there. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Maybe you're giving up on your own dream at this point. Who is your mentor? Who is somebody that you've seen that has been there and can take you through their own journey now, sincerely? The person that will do anything to make sure, hey, Rolake, it might be tough at this time, but I'm lifting you up. I'm here to support you. I got your back. I want you to be a partner also in this firm, or I want you to be the CEO in this business. So, and I think that having a mentor is also key. Having somebody that you can really let out your frustrations to, that can help you get your feedback on in times of challenges. And I think your second question, Fijeh, was about what the best thing that has happened to me. the best thing that has happened to me since I decided to, through these people see you. And that's what excellence does. You're noticed. It opens doors. I said earlier that excellence is an attitude. Somebody said that your attitude will determine your altitude in life. I believe it strongly. I'll say it again. Your attitude determines your altitude in life. People see it distinguishes you. Put in your best. Somebody said you might not be doing great things. You might not be doing big, great things, but you are great at doing the little things. You are great at doing every little thing you do. I'll say that again. You might not be doing this huge, big, great things, but everything that your hand finds to do, you do it great. You are great at it. So I think that it's opened some great doors. It's helped to get me there, elevated, promoted, even beyond what I would have ever imagined at this time in my career. People see, and that's just the truth. It opens doors,
and people love excellence.
People
who are not excellent.
Yes. And the key is, and I think just to make this note to Fijeh, is to make sure, it's about perception. So somebody can say, how can I know that I'm excellent? So do people tell you, be open to getting feedback? In our career, that's why you can criticize me. There might be some truth in there. Why it might not all be true, but make up a point of reflection. Make sure you're somebody that takes constructive, I say, not just criticism, constructive criticism. Take every criticism as constructive. What is that, an iota or an element of truth in what this person is telling me in order to better myself? People see you come to work, you are supposed to come at 8 o'clock, or is it 8:30? You stood in at 9:15. People see these things. That's not going to open any door to you, because what that means is you are not reliable. You come in at 9 today, tomorrow is 9:15, the next day is 10, or they're looking for people that I remember when I first started. I'll share the story, it just came to me when I first started my career. And there are, in the first or second year, there are usually specific sections that are allocated to the younger staff, so they don't give you like the complex one. So you get to audit like cash or fixed assets, or you get to audit like, really small things like expenses, income. But then for me, within my second year, I was already asking. I said, that big section, I want those big ones. Let people know this is what it does to you. So what that means is you're already operating at the next level. That's excellence. Because what your employer is probably looking for in that company is to see you start to show signs that you are ready to now operate at that next level. Wow. That's what they want to see. And until you start operating at that next level, and these are some of the experiences I've had, and what has really catapulted me in my
Thank you so much for sharing. As you said, that it reminds me of an event I attended many years ago. I was living in Nigeria, but I came to the US for this event. And it was Mark Victor Hansen and Brian Tracy that put it together. And I asked him a question. I said, Mark, I work in an organization. I was an internal auditor then in the pension industry, premium pension in Nigeria. And I said, and in my organization, I feel like they're slow, like things are moving, they'll train you on one thing for because we are all at certain level. I said, what do I do to start? I said, Rosalind, don't you become a hungry dog. I want you to, when they send a work job at you, take that and say, more, I want more, give me more. And it was so funny, but I went back and I put it in practice. I'm giving you a job, and the head of internal audit is telling me, okay, Fijeh, I know he's going to take you like 2 weeks, and I bring it back in 4 days. I'm like, I'm done. He said, okay, take the next day off. I'm like, I don't need a day off. I'm coming. What more do you want? And it really, really made that impression. I want to take a couple of questions before we go to the next session, because time is running away from me. The first question is from Daniel Umor. Thank you for joining, Daniel. Daniel is a very dear client from when I was a financial advisor. He's in Nigeria, liquefied natural gas in Bonny Island. How do you keep giving excellent results when the system around you does not recognize or value those results?
Wow. How do you keep giving excellent results when the system around you does not recognize or value? That's a deep question. Definitely environment is key. environment is key in ensuring that you keep on being on excellence. I think that keep being you, just keep doing you. One thing I like about excellence too is, in fact, when you look at a lot of leaders are people of excellence. So when you see any leadership books, whether it's In Pursuit of Excellence, a couple of books by Maxwell, several books, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, all those books, they get to leadership and they are change agents. And I believe that that's one thing too that God has called us to be. You can't be a change agent. So even if you are in an environment or a system that doesn't recognize or value excellence, you keep being you. Don't let that change who you are. I tell you, you can't be the change that you want to see. You can drive that change in that organization, especially when you keep producing results. Things will turn in your favor. So I would say just keep being you. I know that can be frustrating. I really can't even I can't even imagine that, but just keep being you. Be a change agent, stay true to who you are, and keep producing that result. And another thing is, sometimes too, I say this, I'm a believer too in not staying in a place where you're tolerated. I'm a believer in staying in a place where you are celebrated. It could also be that it might be time for you, sir, or whoever asks this question, to launch out. Maybe that place has really you have outgrown that place. It might be the time to move out, to move on, to be that change agent. So if you've done it, and because you might start to get frustrated. I can see how this can be frustrating for anyone. It could be sad that you have outgrown that space and you need to move on to find an environment that would recognize and value excellence.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. I'll take one more question. This is from another Evoke. She's an economist who now sells crayfish.
Wow.
She said, I need to know what will make my customers keep coming back. How do I stand out in this crayfish selling business?
I am in business. I sell crayfish. I need to know what will make my customers keep coming back. Now, I'm not sure when you say you are in business, how do you sell? So one of the things that, I said earlier, it's about experience. So are you selling from within your basement, from within your garage? Are you in a store location? And then how is your product package? How is your product package? What is the packaging of your product? What is your branding? It's also somewhat about branding. Branding excellence involves branding. You've got to be different. And then what is your pricing? Consider that as well. Are you competitive in the market? One thing about excellence is you don't always have to be cheap. You don't have to be the cheapest. In fact, usually the cheapest is not always the best. That will keep people coming back. They value what you bring, what you sell. In what format are you selling? And then do you get feedback? Do you get feedback from your customers? How is your product? How is it compared to maybe the other brands of crayfish that they have bought in your area? Who are the people you're selling to? Do you know who your target people are? So those are some of the questions. It's hard for me without knowing the circumstances and really the parameters within which you are selling. But again, distinguishing yourself, getting feedback from current customers, and then how do you make the product available? How do you make it available? Is it as needed, or are you able to just sell it within several people? Want things that whenever they need it, it is readily available for them, or are you boxed into certain hours of time where people can have access to your product? So end up on just several things to think about, but again, people will keep coming back when you make it more of an experience again for them.
Wow, 100%. That was a mini class in product sales. So many she could have picked right from out of that. Thank you so much for sharing.
I love crayfish too, so maybe it's time to start buying from Enobo. Please send me your details out.
I
love to use
I've seen that. And it's clean. It's and she sends around globally.
Globally, that's nice. And again, that's a nice. Especially when you're global, you want to be able to compete globally. Global business is different from local business, right? So what would enable you compete? What's the crayfish? Hundreds of thousands of people, I'm sure, that that sell crayfish, but it's about branding. How have you branded yourself? What is it about the taste of your crayfish? But I want you to also seek out feedback, And then even globally, are you selling more as a distributor? Are you an wholesaler, or are you selling just to consumers? Maybe it's time to, when you go global, seek contacts with vendors, maybe those African markets here, the wholesale markets that you can begin to sell to. But the key thing, get feedback. If there's any way you need to improve, feedback would also help you as well.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes to answer this question, because I have some couple of very important questions I wanted to follow up with. He says, this is from Solomon. I'm considering starting forex trading. Will you advise me to start, considering the risk involved?
Wow, great question. Foreign exchange trading business, considering the risk involved. The thing is, as with any business, there are certainly risks involved. Definitely with forex trading, there's a higher risk in there, especially because of the fluctuations in exchange rates and the volatility, right, that is in there. So I would say, do your due diligence, do your homework. How much risk are you willing to take? How much risk are you willing to take on and bear? But this particular one, without knowing exactly, because there's several pieces to it, what side of it you are exploring, the volatility in the market, and again, there are times that it goes in your favor, and there are times it would go the other way. So making sure you do your due diligence. But like with any risk, any business, there are risks that are involved. Do your due diligence. Make sure that you are also monitoring the market. This is one thing that my husband does quite a bit. So you've got to be someone that stays on top of the market. You are monitoring the highs and the lows of the market, and you have your sources in order, and reliable sources too. So, do the due diligence, consider the risk, make sure there are risks you are willing to take. And I'll say launch and forge ahead once you have those, that conviction in mind.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So I have a couple of really important questions. I see it's an hour already, but I do need to get this in. Now, when it comes to relationship, if there is one thing I have seen about you, it is that you attract people to you like bees would attracted to flowers, meet you and they love you and they stay. You have a way of getting commitment out of people. So I'm going to give you free reign, at least 5 minutes, to talk to us, to our audience, about what you have learned along the way, about the importance of relationships, how you have managed to establish strong relationships that have impacted your life's journey, and how in your busy life you still find time to still love people, draw people close, and engender the kind of loyalty that people seem to have towards you. How do you manage all that?
So in my career, other than the fact that I'm a Christian, I'll get to the godly side of things. Very early, one of my mentors gave me a book. That book is called Managing People from the Heart. I don't know if you haven't read it. It's a good book to search and find and read. This is Managing from the Heart. So I think that when it comes to dealing with people, we've got to do it from the heart. We've got to come from a heart of compassion. We've got to be sincere in our love to people. So I think for me, like I said earlier, my career has helped me with relationships and being able to just deal with people of different, moods. I've seen all manners of mood, one mood swing to another. But we are made for relationships. That's just the truth. We are made for relationships. I've realized that people are assets in our lives. It could be that next step that you want to take in your business or in your career could be at the mercy or at the expense of somebody that you need to treat well and acknowledge their presence in your life. People are assets, and I think that until we have that mindset that people are not just for us to be, they're not tools to be used. They're two different things. People are assets. And I think that for me, that's what I've come to learn, over time. So just maintaining those relationships, being sincere in your relationships. I like that you said that people are drawn to me and they've stayed. But the truth is, I monitor, I assess my relationships. But I say all the time to people that people are in our lives for a season. And some of us need to get this also today, for a season, so that when that season is over in your life and God wants you to move on, then move on. People are also in our lives for a second purpose. They are there for a reason. When that reason is accomplished, it could be that it's time then to move on, because a lot of us are staying in relationships that are not beneficial. I trust that our relationships, I believe, should be mutually beneficial, not one-sided. And the third is that people are in our lives for life. In our lives for life. So we've got to assess and identify those relationships that are in your life for life. Those are the ones that would help you accomplish your mission. Those are the ones that would nurture you to get to where you get to. Those are the ones like mentors, like I said earlier, they would stop at nothing to make sure that you as an individual, you are successful. So relationships are very, 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 very key. I don't joke with them. I think that I just, I love to encourage people too. When we're in relationships, our relationships should be beneficially, mutually beneficial. Should be mutually beneficial to us. So make sure that you bring something. So when I'm hanging out with people, I just don't say, let's go and eat. So to be practical, I just don't say, okay, Fijeh, let's go and hang out. Okay, we're eating quite all right. We're having lunch, we're having dinner. But then, how am I getting to know you? A lot of us don't spend time to get to know people. Get to know people. Show interest in them. What are your own goals too? What do you want to accomplish now? How can I help you? What part as an individual can I play? People are assets. We are made for relationships. Now, if you hang out with people in that manner, and every time they leave you, you have deposited tangible, something tangible in them, the truth is they will keep coming back. People are looking for tangibility. They're looking for substance. And don't use people. Don't use people and turn people. Talking about relationships, encourage people. In our church, I will speak to that as well. We have, we have the choir, they know it, or we have people that minister, not just my husband and I. When people do a good job, tell them they've done a good job. Tell them they've got. A lot of us, we hold it back. Why? Because sometimes when we're praising other people, right, we feel like it makes us look lesser. Like we're lesser than them because we're telling them, hey, don't be afraid. But you know what? You perform in your own right as well. You stay true. If you are performing in your own space, hey, you will have no problem at all to lift up another person performing in their space. So maybe you are even a manager here at work. It's not just in the church. Encourage people. Bring them together. Hey, let's just go for happy hour today. It's not all about work. Now we're talking relationships. That's how you get to know them. Hang out with them. People have lives outside of work. People have lives outside of church. So relationships, being compassionate, being sincere, being determined and intentional to deposit tangibility in people that meet with us. I think for me, those are the ways that I have looking to work a relationship. Just ensuring that before I leave you, if you're hanging out with me for 30 minutes, how can I deposit something positive? How can I lift you? So, but you might come to me really, really broken and hopeless and you've given up on that. I want you to leave me lifted. I want you to leave me knowing that you've received some nuggets and some wisdom to help you turn that situation around for good.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. There's so much. I had to put down so much. I had to go off. I write down so many notes. I think one thing I also want to hear from you in that area that you excel is, can you tell us how you keep it all together? Especially when it comes
all together.
Oh wow! With your spouse, your children, you have extended family,
Yes.
the work
Your
of the ministry,
church work,
work
get it all
person.
going, wearing many hats.
How do you excel, in every front, career, everything? How do you keep this all together? And the word on family.
As we will say, by the grace of God. The grace of God is always available to us, but wisdom is also profitable to direct us all. I keep it together by knowing I cannot be everything to everybody. Knowing that I cannot do, I made that statement earlier that I can do everything, but you can do everything in prioritizing and being organized. The church is there, in the line of priority. We got to prioritize. So I know that first of all, for me as a believer, my relationship with God is uppermost. Then my family is next. And then my career, my church, my ministry is next. And then my career, what I do in the secular world is next. So in that order, my relationship with God, and then my family is next. And then my ministry is next, and after
Ministry
that,
is not our family.
not ministry, not over family, no, not at all. And then my career, what I do in the secular world. But I think that prioritizing is very key. Prioritizing is very key. You can truly do have it all. It gives grace, God gives strength. But prioritizing, don't try to please people. We are not in this world to please anyone. A lot of us fall into that trap of trying to please people. Don't try to be the jack of all trade and master of none. Take that one thing, master it, and do it very, very well. But don't let one be at the expense of another really important one that God wants to be in order in your life. So I think that for me is, getting organized. Also, getting organized. What do I want to do in this whole week now? What is it that I want to accomplish for work, for the home front? What is it that I want to accomplish in ministry? So getting organized, prioritizing. I also want to say I have a great support system. They say that behind every successful man is a same man. Behind every successful woman is that man telling her all the time that she's right, telling her all the time that you can do it. Make sure that your support system, or if you need to be a support system for somebody that is really thriving and need to do, and they can do more, be there. I have a husband that supports me extremely, even in ministry, where you say, women should be quiet. No, he pushes and pushes and pushes and pushes me to excellence. He leads by example, and in the same manner, encourages me. So I'm blessed with with a support system that really helps me out. But very key to realize that you cannot be everything to everybody. Self-love is also important. Self-care, people. Self-care is not selfishness. Self-love is not selfishness. Have that me time. Have that me time. I know, Fijeh, I know you're an author. I know one thing I know, a best-selling author for that matter. So one thing I know about authors is that you take that time out. I know that reading through the stories of great authors, where they would really go live in this mountain. So they're in the backyard, it's nice and quiet and peaceful. Yeah. We all need that. And what happens is in that quiet, is in that moment of reflection that thoughts begin to come to you. Creative ideas begin to come to you. Those writings begin. So it's very important. Don't be a go. You are not a locomotive engine. We're not meant to be locomotive engines that go and don't stop. Take a moment of reflection. Sometimes I'm not doing anything. I'm just relaxing in the house. Sometimes I just I take a break, a weekend on it. I just want to relax. Go to a hotel, check in. I just want that moment of retreat. So balancing it all, you need to be refreshed, because you know what? You cannot give what you don't have. Out of what you receive from that time of self-love and from that time of self-care, then you are able to give. Then you are able to really give of yourself what you have received. So you can be it, you can do it. Asking God for wisdom, for direction, prioritize.
Wow, fantastic. this is so good and so loaded. I wish we had more time, but this has been such inspiring and a time of learning. I tell people both. People complain, speakers just motivate people. I said, yeah. And they say, why? Motivation doesn't last. I'm like, yes, food doesn't last. You eat food today, you eat food tomorrow. Why don't you eat food and be okay? So there's nothing wrong with getting motivated and inspired to go. But then these practical tips, the ability to do them, people, because you're hearing all of it, rather than just admiring who I'm all for admiring people. I tell people, but what do you take from those people? If you meet an outstanding person and you took no lesson from their life, you're an apology. What a waste of time. You need to have grabbed one thing and like, no, this is mine. I'm going to do this.
I'm running with it. Yeah.
I'm running with this one. Fantastic. Yeah. Finally, Pastor Rolake, before we leave, and we will have for those asking, we'll have her social media, YouTube, everywhere she appears. We'll have it in the description, so you will have it. And we'll also send those details to those who registered formally. But there are people who just joined online to register. The final question I want to ask is, what do you want to be remembered for?
Wow. All the loaded questions today. It's interesting. Just before I answered that question, thank you, Fijeh, for that. I remember a story, that I heard. When you want to see people, somebody said that people that have the people that are full of potentials, the place you would find them the most, full of potentials, loaded people that have it all. The place you find them is in the mortuary or at the cemetery. So what that means is there's a lot in each and every one of us. A lot of potential in you. I don't know who's listening to me today. You have a lot to give to the world. Somebody has something to give. You've got something that somebody needs. Don't look down on yourself. You can keep striving. Make sure you're striving and striving to be the better you. We're not striving for perfection, but you're striving to be the better you. I want to charge everyone watching us today to make sure you don't die with all your potentials loaded in you, unutilized potentials. So that gets me, and that's what drives me. And that gets me to my response to that question. What I would love to be remembered for, as someone who really was bold enough to chase my own calling. There's a calling for you. There's a space for you. Don't seek to be popular. Seek to be relevant. I'll say that again. Don't seek to be popular. Now, with your being relevant, your popularity might come. It will come, right? Mark Zuckerberg, that we've talked about. Starbucks, everyone we've talked about. Amazon, that we've talked about, right? Look at Amazon. I don't even remember the last time I stepped into a store to buy anything. Everything gets shipped to me, right? Even Gary, sugar, Milo, Nedo, everything. And to the most sophisticated item gets delivered right here to my door because somebody chose to make a difference and to do it excellently in a way that has never been done before. That's what Jeff Bezos did with Amazon. So for me, as someone who was bold enough to chase my own calling, to pave my path by the grace of God, pave your path. There's a path for you. There's your own path. Don't be genuine. Don't seek to be like anyone else. You are unique. There's no counterfeit Fijeh. There's no counterfeit Rolake. Fijeh you're looking at is original. The Rolake you're looking at is be the original. Be the original you. And also to be remembered as someone that inspires others to do the same. And that's what I'm doing here today. Inspire you to pave your own path. To remember that you have something that the world is looking for. I tell my children, there's so many inventions out there. Don't think that because Instagram, Snapchat, everybody has WhatsApp, there's still something you can invent. And then lastly, to be remembered for spreading goodness, spreading kindness all around the world with whoever comes in contact with me, maybe in person or virtually as you're doing today, to spread goodness, to spread good news, to spread kindness, one person at a time.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank God it's virtual. We cannot give any standing ovations, but what a show. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Pastor Rolake. It's been so inspiring. And can you believe it's over 50 minutes?
Wow.
over 80 minutes already.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
we're almost an hour and a half at it.
Yes. And I was thinking, I won't take your time, 45 minutes to 50 minutes. Now look at us, and we just want more. But thank you so much.
We do. We're gonna do it again.
Yes. Who is
But
for doing it again?
you know what?
Give me
Make impact. Go and change your world for good. I want to thank you, Fijeh, for making impact. You know, you are making impact, whether to the youth, you know, even the older ones. Thank you for the impact that you are making, and this is what it's all about. It's the impact that we make. It's our footprints that we leave in the world. You know, whether not just for our children. You know, there's so many people that we're loaded. And I think that the field was we're so loaded that a lot of us pull back. If we would only not pull back, whether it's in that crayfish you're selling or my guy that is going into that forex trading, there's so much we can make in the world. There's so much space. There's space for you. There's space for me. Go and get it. You know, remove every limitation from you. Strive to get better every day. Strive. Keep doing it on a daily basis. You are what you repeatedly do. And I just pray for everyone that, you know, excellence will be your watchword in all that we all do.
One last word, Pastor Rolake. Will you invite those that are in Illinois in the environment to
those that are in Illinois that have joined us?
Chicago environment? Will you invite them to, so that if they want to see more of you, if you want to meet the gentleman that is a support behind you, where can they find that? For those that can meet in person.
Oh, to meet him, we are, you know, he's a business consultant. So interestingly, he is my very, very first mentor here. He mentored me as well. I'm proud to say that. And his name is Adedara. He's here in the Chicago area. You know, he works with the PNC Bank here, and he's a man of many hats as well. A man of many parts. But we are a parish we're a parish of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. He is a pastor of the Fountain of Life Church here in Des Plaines, Illinois. You can actually just Google us, talk by Adedara, Rolake Adedara, Google us. We are here in the Chicago land area. We're actually about 8 minutes away from the airport, from O'Hare Airport. We're very easy to locate. We're pretty centrally located. And I promise you, you will be mightily blessed. It will be a time of your life. And we trust that you will be impacted in a way like never before. Thank you.
I am a witness. And if you're looking for a place to grow, a place where your potentials will be appreciated and celebrated, Pastor Tucker and Pastor Rolake are really generous in pushing you towards that. I do invite you to join them. Thank you, people. I'm fantastically excited that you're here again. And we promise you even better next time. I would say next month, but there's a very high likelihood I will do one more session in June.
Yay!
But I always promise them, I say, I don't believe in wasting time. Anytime you get online with me, I'm not going to go online because everybody's going online. Because no, it's going to be impactful. It's going to make a difference. And I'm waiting for your feedback. Pastor Rolake and I want to hear from you. What did you learn? What are you doing about it? What new thing are you starting? How is your business changing? How is your career changing because of this moment? We want to get that feedback. We'll share it on social media and however you can reach us. And then the link to Pastor Rolake, both the parish YouTube channel, will be down there so that if you wanted to join them on Sundays, on Wednesdays, whatever you want to get more of this, you'll have access to that. Thanks again, Pastor Rolake.
Thank you.
I'll let you go. It's a Saturday, so you can go enjoy your family.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure being here. God bless. Thank you.
All right, guys. Bye for now. And thank you again for joining us. I will give you more information. If you wanted the video, it's going to be live here on YouTube permanently. It's going to be on our Facebook channel. But if you have any questions, if you have anything you want, I'm also going to share with you a link to our WhatsApp group. We are forming a book club. I invite you all to join. Invite your friends if you're there already. And have a good one, guys. Thank you.